Welcome to the Aftermath. Here we take an honest look at what healing is really like. Join me as we uncover the incredible stories of people who have turned their trauma and pain into absolute raw, unadulterated power. If you're looking for some extra tools to add to your healing toolbox or for inspiration, you've definitely come to the right place. Let's explore the transformative power of sharing, connecting, and healing together. Today, I am honored to be joined by a remarkable and fascinating guest who I'm also fortunate enough to call friend, Harmony Onyu Lee. Once an evidence-based neuroscientist, Harmony's life took an absolute transformative turn after she healed several deep traumas, including 20 years of incurable cluster headaches, which she healed through quantum healing. It's crazy. This journey not only healed her physically, but also awakened her spiritual gifts as a quantum healer and high priestess. Harmony now blends science and spirituality to help others heal, access their soul's purpose, and connect with higher timelines. In today's episode, we are diving into her insights on soul contracts, the wisdom of spiritual guides, and the power of healing through the quantum field. So get ready to be inspired and let's dive in. Tell us a little bit about what priestess means to you and what makes it different from, say, a healer or a light worker or a shadow worker or a witch.
Yeah. So priestesses are all of those things in a sense. As a priestess, we work with both the darkness and the light, and we heal and we teach and we lead. But in the end, what we do the most is hold the space, the container to allow people to explore their own darkness and their own light. And their strengths and their weaknesses and their traumas and their victories in order to truly understand who they are and accept all of it and love all of them and be grateful for every single aspect of who they are. And so, whereas a light worker, for instance, would focus a lot on spreading their light, and the shadow worker would focus a lot on casting shadows so that other people's light can be highlighted or to help other people really delve into the shadows of their being, of their soul. We do all of that because as priestesses, we are friends. We are intimate friends with both the light beings and the dark beings and the light energies and the dark energies and the high frequencies and the low frequencies. And because of that, you and I, many priestesses around the world have had to go through the deepest, darkest, most disgusting and terrible aspects of human life. And in the end, that's what enables us to truly connect with others authentically, to be able to help them through whatever they're going through.
Yeah. You can really match their energy.
Exactly.
And help them find their way out or into whatever they'd like.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's really magical how we get to experience both the light and dark. We really, I feel like, get to experience the most exciting things and the most devastating things.
Yeah.
And in the full range, the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about priestesses and their relation to mental health and neurodivergence? I think that would be really fascinating.
Yeah, so neurodivergent people are very special. So we are both neurodivergent. And I'm going to just umbrella that because in the end, the specific labels don't matter, whether it's ADHD, ADD, autism, or whatever on the spectrum you are on. In the end, we are people who are more sensitive to the energies and the electromagnetic field all around us. So we can respond more intensely to certain situations or people or groups of people or locations. And it may make us seem like some people who are neurodivergent are not capable of handling the world, but it is actually because we came here more raw and vulnerable in a powerful sense, sensitive to these energies so that we can help attune it for the rest of the collective. And what I mean by that is that these energies are all around us, right? And we are all being affected by it
Constantly.
But a lot of us, a lot of humans, we just kind of absorb and assume that it is ours, our own energy, our own thoughts. Whereas neurodivergent people, for instance, if it is ADHD, we have so many different thoughts coming in, right? And our society would tell us that, oh, this is your mind going crazy. But actually, we are we're channeling so many different energies, beings who have different interests and opinions. And we portray it like it's our own, but we are genuinely pure vessels, channels. So that is why if you meet anyone who is a very attuned and extremely talented energy worker, healer, they are going to have had a neurodivergent brain experience.
Can you delve into a little bit more about beings and energies and what that looks like? Because I know there's a lot of fear for people about like, oh, I'm channeling these beings or I'm talking to beings. And also I think people fall into the trap of like idolizing these beings as well. So can you just talk about their humanity?
So what I like to tell my students always is that these beings, no matter how divine, invisible beings, they're the same as us. They're not above us or below us. No matter what frequency they are on, we are all the same. And so just because it is a spirit, spirit is what we'll call a being that we cannot see, but some people can sense and communicate with, a spirit is not above a human. So just because a spirit tells you something doesn't mean that it's true or that you have to believe it. In fact, they're just friends, your soul friends here to guide you to learn a lesson. So whatever their message could be, not so good for you, but for your highest good so that you have certain experiences so that you learn something. So in a lot of cases, when there are beings that are communicating or let's say bothering some people, let's say schizophrenic people, right? So I've had experience with schizophrenic episodes. And these voices, these beings taught me my power, my true power and my sovereignty and my free will and how I am beyond all these thoughts. That at the end of it all, I am the pure consciousness that is observing and listening and not all the thoughts around me. I think that's very empowering to realize for a lot of people. I work with a lot of clients with different mental illnesses, schizophrenia, manic depression, bipolar, and it's at the end of it all, it's the same thing. It's the energetic world. It's the spiritual world that they're experiencing. I want to talk more about dark energies, right? So something very important to realize is that there are no evil spirits. There is no real evil being. Now, there can be lower frequency beings who vibrate on lower frequency emotions and thoughts, such as anger, guilt, shame, grief, vengeance, and apathy, and all these things. But they're not actually out to get us. They're all our friends. They're there to help us experience the spectrum of emotions that we have available on this planet, Earth, which is very special because not all the other places, worlds, realms get to have the full spectrum of emotions as we do here on earth. And we came here on purpose to experience those. As horrible as you're like, why would I do that? But it was to experience because you wanted to have that adventure of feeling and being alive, going back to the dark beings. They can be dark of the darkness or of the void, but they are not evil. And they can be your friends.
Yeah.
And they can lend you a lot of support and power and help you discover your own power and sovereignty and free will.
Yeah.
So it's important not to demonize darkness.
Yeah. I think I really liked how you explained it to me one time, talking about thinking of like certain darker entities as kids and like how they kind of get a rise out of bringing out these certain emotions from you and stuff like that. And so they come at you, but it's not insidious. It's more like this, like, ha ha ha, look at, I made you cry type of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of like switched my perspective because, you know, to say something like, oh, there's no evilness or like there's no evil being is like really like bring people like,
right. It's like,
I've experienced that.
Yeah. And yeah. But so you're right. So in essence, dark beings are more like trickster energies.
Yeah.
Or energies that are bored.
Yeah.
And want to get some fun out of whoever.
Yeah.
And they don't really care. So it is a more self-centered approach.
Yeah.
For sure. But
they're still serving.
It's not because they are truly trying to just create evil.
Yeah.
It's more that they love chaos.
Yeah.
So it's more frequency. Chaos energy.
Mm.
And sometimes we love chaos, you know, it can be fun.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't call it necessarily evil.
Yeah.
But it can feel very, very horrible and overwhelming. This was something that I was explained by Yeshua, or Jesus, as a lot of people may know him, who is an ascended master, and Source. I was meditating one day, just trying to do some clearing and grounding before I go to a women's circle. And out of nowhere, a floating head of Jesus, Yeshua, came up in front of me. And I did not grow up very religious.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, who is this?
Yeah.
And then instantly I knew, like, this is Yeshua. And I was like, Jesus?
What you doing here?
What are you doing here? No, literally, I was like, what are you doing? And he didn't say anything, but all of a sudden, he started falling right in front of me, like in my vision, falling. And I was like, there's a falling Jesus in front of me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I just instinctively try to catch him with my hand. And it didn't work. He kept going through, falling through my hands. And then all of a sudden I just had the knowledge, oh, you want me to follow you. So I dove in head first after him. And we went down this portal, this tunnel. I felt like I was just going down tunnel. And finally we arrived at a place and we anchored. And he taught me, he started doing these hand movements.
Yeah.
And I learned since then about mudras. They're real things.
Yeah.
That are energetically very helpful tools. And so after like following him, he explained these are to help you anchor into this dimension. He started speaking at that point. Now you can talk to me. Now you can hear me and you can ask me any questions now. And I was like, okay. I was very bewildered because this was a very new experience for me at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with Yeshua. Because I never really considered myself very Christian.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know that, like, Yeshua was real. Jesus was real. I used to make fun of people I used to make fun of people who believed Christian and Christianity. And I thought it was just a made up character to help people, behave a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But turns out he's real, just on a different dimension. And so this is a little bit digression, but I'm going to talk about it in a chronological order.
Yeah.
I instantly asked him, all right, I was angry. I was like, why the fuck are all Christians, so many Christians, spreading so much hatred and so much anger and shame?
Yeah.
Why are you letting that happen?
Mm-hmm.
What is the point? And he explained to me that a lot of Christians on earth right now are shadow workers.
Mm-hmm.
They are here to carry the frequency of shame and guilt and fear in order to show others to go towards the light, to show them this is what it's like, the darkness. It is your choice whether you want to continue towards darkness or the light. And he explained that they are equal, divine, sacred servants of Source. Just that their souls chose a different path. Their souls they volunteered to come to earth to help humans by being shadow workers. So it was really, really impactful for me because that helped me understand, okay, nobody's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's worse or behind. It's literally what their soul chose to live out in their human lifetime, in order to help all these other people.
Right.
We have role models, and we have role models like anti-role models in the sense that they show us what we never want to be.
Yeah.
He went on to transfer me, it was like a phone line, to Ra and Thoth, who I not heard of before. And his face out of nowhere came around, like next to Yeshua. It was a man with a bird head. And I was so confused. I was like, what is this now?
You're like, okay, I'm talking to Birdman.
Yeah, I was like, okay, there's a bird, but it's a man. And I mean, it felt familiar, but I still didn't know. And then I started seeing these symbols. Oh, now I know it to be an ankh.
Okay.
But I remember just thinking, okay, it's like an upside down teardrop.
Okay.
And a cross combined. Okay, what is that?
Yeah.
And then he introduced himself to me and was like, I'm Thoth.
Mm-hmm.
And he took me on a whole another ride, showing me my soul's origin as a dragon mother in another universe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just showing me my incredible past.
Mm.
And then Thoth transferred me over to Source. When it appeared to me, I'm not really going to say a gender, because it's not a gender. It is all.
Yeah.
It just appeared to me as an eye. It's like shining eye, not too bright. Like I thought it would be blinding, but no, like it was just, normal shining eye. And at first I was like, okay, an eyeball. What is that?
Yeah.
And then instantly telepathically was like, oh my God, this is Source. I was honestly not that stunned. I was just amused because this whole experience was just like, what is happening?
Yeah. You're like, what is going on?
But Source allowed me to ask any question that I had. And the main one was, why is there evil? Why? Like where and how and just
Why?
Yeah. And Source explained to me that at the very beginning, there was just void, nothingness, not necessarily darkness even, just void. But this nothing is full of matter. And out of that void, the analogy that he gave me was when you're so bored, you start to do things just to come out of boredom.
Yeah.
And the analogy he gave me was, when you're so bored, when I was so bored when I was young, that I would just hit my brother or pinch him or just like make him cry. Or you would, with your friends, just go ding dong ditch. But, make that person, drive that person crazy.
Yeah.
And I made my brother cry and in pain and suffer.
Yeah.
But for me, it wasn't that I was trying to be evil.
Yeah.
It was just that I was bored.
Yeah.
So that's how I acted it out. And it was exactly like that. Out of void came boredom. And they started to play tricks, to entertain themselves. And they're just like kids that just want to experience and have fun and not just sit in still peace, because peace can be boring.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why, I think we've talked about it too before with like certain healers are like, love and light, love and light, love and light. And it's like, well, that's actually not, that's not all.
Yeah.
That's not what we even came here for.
Yeah.
We didn't just come here to obtain love and light.
No.
And to sing not the Om in the clouds playing harps.
Good tool, but
yeah. But no, the experience is the shadows highlight the light, right? If it's a room of light, you see nothing.
Exactly.
The shadows make it interesting, give us color.
Exactly.
Thank you. I think that's going to be really, really helpful for people, because I know when I heard that, and especially with the Christianity thing, I know for me growing up in a very religious environment, it was really difficult for me to even come back into kind of my spiritual essence, because it was like, I don't want to be associated with God or with source or whatever. It was like, well, fuck you. Like, you guys just created this to just fuck around. But to have it be like that and to understand my soul chose this and wanted this experience definitely makes it much more of an empowering experience.
Definitely.
Speaking of, I would love for you to talk a little bit more about souls.
Yeah.
And as they come and how they choose and kind of their perspective of coming to Earth.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people are going to be like, what the fuck? I wouldn't choose this shit.
Exactly. Right. So what I wanted to add from before too was that we come from unconditional love.
Yeah.
We come originally from absolute peace and infinite love. We came here as souls specifically to Earth because there are so many other places you could go to, but we volunteered. Actually, there's a humongous wait list to come to Earth and experience Earth. We really wanted that shit. And we came here too in order to experience the rest of the emotions that are available.
Everything except for unconditional.
Exactly. So a lot of people, even spiritual people and a lot of religious people, believe that we are on Earth to try to attain unconditional love. As a high priestess, I can tell you for a fact that we are not here to try to achieve unconditional love. We came from unconditional love.
Yep.
And we came here to experience everything else, all the other types of love. Selfish love, very conditional love, manipulative love.
Yeah.
Beautiful love, but that still needs to be balanced with self-love.
Yeah.
But I can say we did come here in order to practice unconditional self-love.
Yeah. Despite the outward.
Exactly. And the struggles with that, struggles unconditionally loving yourself while balancing it with living with others harmoniously.
Yeah.
And so Earth is a very special planet. There are only few others just like Earth in this universe. And it is special because it is a living library. It's a living library of all of the species that exist in this universe. So I want you to think about this.
Yeah.
Humans, insects, fish, octopi, birds. Like, we look so different. Yeah. We're literally like aliens to each other. It's because we are all aliens that came from different star systems.
Yeah.
We were all seated here, put here together like a giant petri dish in order to experiment, see
what happened,
how we can harmoniously coexist together.
Yeah. Makes me think when I was a kid and I was frustrated, I used to be like, I feel like this is all just one stupid experiment.
Yeah, that's because it is.
It is.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
But you chose it.
But I chose it, and that makes it different. What changed it for me too was to think like, on a soul level, like I know I'm always going to go back to unconditional love. I know I'm always going to be protected and taken care of. I know like I am, and that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that I really just chose this as like a fun deviation.
Yep.
Experience.
Yeah.
Right. And chose this matrix to just have fun.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't realize probably how incredibly painful it would be in this physical body.
Exactly.
And sometimes me in the physical form cusses out my soul. Is that my pitch? But
your masochistic soul.
Exactly. My masochistic ass.
My masochistic soul.
But like knowing that it is all simulation, ultimately I'll be back home and
you can't mess it up.
I can't mess it up. And it's just an experience. And it also really helped me and has helped me through the difficult experiences.
Yeah.
Because I can kind of bring myself out of it and see it from an outside perspective and be like, okay, what did I want to learn from this? Why am I experiencing this lower energy? Why am I like going through this process? Okay, here's the lesson. And now I can push past it. Now I can do it. And, knowing that the worst that happens is what? I go back to source and then I try again. I'm just going to have fun. So it's exciting.
Yeah. And I wanted to just say that you can leave Earth. You don't have to keep incarnating on Earth over and over again. You're not trapped.
Yeah.
We are not trapped. We are powerful, sovereign beings. We are also God, goddess.
Mm-hmm.
We're literally source having a human experience.
Yeah.
You can leave.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to believe. Again, it's just a belief that's keeping you trapped in fear and disempowerment that you are not in control.
Yeah.
Because you are absolutely in control of your reality and of your life, this one and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you are living so many other lifetimes outside of Earth.
Right.
As well. There are some souls who are just doing Earth experiences.
Yeah.
They were kind of designated for that, Earth souls. But at this point in Earth timeline, a lot of us have parallel lifetimes, incarnations that are happening outside of this solar system.
Exactly. Which is why you see kind of the rise, popularization of spiritualism and like people like wanting to kind of figure out what this is. Even us being able to talk about this type of stuff and talk about channeling and post about this kind of like really, truly magical stuff.
Yeah.
Which in the past, people literally have been killed for. I do feel fortunate to be here at this time and experience it.
Me too.
Which is insane to say that. Cause that was not my viewpoint for years.
Me either. I was just a victim for the longest time in my life. Not that I actually was, but I genuinely believed.
Yeah, exactly. The victim mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what you were saying about like we are in complete control is an interesting thing because the way you realize you're in complete control is by complete surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds super counterintuitive. But I find that the more I just lean back and let it be and let this experience happen and surrender to the experience, the more control I actually do have. And the more control, because I'm in control of me. I'm in control of my perspective, my viewpoint, my emotions, my actions, whatever it is.
Reactions.
Exactly. It's very empowering. but also very counterintuitive. But that's what Earth is all about. Like the dark and the
literally
light.
about the polarity.
Yeah, exactly.
The duality. That's what we came here to experience.
Exactly.
Because again, not many other places don't.
Yeah, and that was fast.
It is just light, just beauty, just peace and la 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 la. Or just void, or just dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Just fire.
That was
which
fascinating.
I love.
Fascinating to learn about beings who just experience like joy,
Yeah,
happiness.
I know.
I was like, what?
I know. When I talk with them sometimes, I'm like, you don't get it right now.
Yeah.
I've been having a human experience. You don't understand what it's like to be here.
Exactly.
Please be patient. Please don't make me go into that porta potty. It's like, you don't have to poop there or pee there. Like, just...
Right. You don't understand.
You don't understand what having
smells.
this human body is like.
Right. The physical repulsion.
And the pain.
It is really funny, I think, working with different beings. I think it's funny we call them humans or people.
I just call people.
Yeah, because it's like what we were talking about earlier. At first, you get into this thing of like, oh my God, these high frequency beings, like, oh my God, they must know everything. They must just, love and light and all this stuff. And then you realize, like, you start talking to them and they give you attitude or something. And you're like, excuse me? And then they'll tell you something, you do it, and it turns out poorly. And you're like, bitch. And they were like, oh, well, I was told that you needed to do that. So I had to lie to you. And it's like,
how dare you?
Dude. But it's good. It's this growth pattern. And I think goes back to learning to unconditionally love yourself and your own sovereignty. Because even in that, like working with these beings, you're still learning. This is your path, your life. You have to be the be all end all. You need to check in with yourself, with your heart.
Your heart. Yes. Your higher self and your heart.
Yeah.
You can have many, many other guidances, but at the end still needs to be your heart's highest joy decision.
Yeah.
And even as priestesses, we get that wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
We are here as servants for so many people to hold space for them to heal and evolve and ascend. But at the same time, we still need to take care of ourselves and put ourselves first. And sometimes we get it wrong and we put others in front of our own heart's joy and needs.
Right.
Or we'll listen to beings, spirit, because we want to be a good divine worker. But in the end, what it means to be truly a great divine worker and servant is to love yourself first.
Yeah.
And then from that full cup, pour into others and help others.
Yeah. We tend to get so caught up in helping other people or working with these beings, and we really do abandon ourselves. And that actually doesn't serve other people. It's really relates to savior complex. And savior complex is one of the most damaging things because you're literally, I'm going to save you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. But you're not saving yourself. And that was a huge lesson for me because I was so outward focused, so like, I have to help, I have to help, I have to help. And I was refusing to do my own internal work, doing my own shadow work. And when you really do save yourself, follow your highest good or your highest joy and check back in and then start living from that place of authenticity, that place of connectedness with yourself, you are so much better equipped to help people because you're actually not attached to the outcome. You're not attached to them, and you can serve them how they need to be served.
Exactly.
Some people need to be served by your absence.
Yeah.
Some people need to be served by you not helping, by you encouraging them to find the answer on their own. Some people do need assistance, but you can only do that when you're not attached to the outcome. For me, it was like really rough because I would love people so much and I would want to see them just flourish and flower. And I'd be like, oh, if you just did this and just did this. But that was actually harming their journey and actually caused them to have a longer journey because now they're living in reaction to me because they're like, oh, well, I don't want to do, I'm not going to do what people tell me to do. Mm-hmm. Whereas if I had just let them find it on their own. And that's why, like, oftentimes when people break up, I think it's so funny how common the story is. Like, oh, after we broke up, like my partner finally started doing the things that I had always been asking him to do.
Yeah.
And it was because they need to find their own way, you know? And sometimes when you're in partnerships, you can literally end a partnership and it doesn't actually have to be personal. It doesn't have to be. Sometimes it's just your time has served together and now you're both best served by the separation. Thanks. And that's how you grow.
Yeah.
And it's great.
It is. It's beautiful. That's a soul contract, right?
Yeah.
We make these soul contracts with different beings, with different souls before we incarnate onto earth and decide, hey, will you play this role for me? Will you play this villain role for me or bully or even rapist role for me?
Yeah.
So that I can grow and learn from this experience.
Yeah.
You ask them and they're like, okay, because I love you so much, I will play this role for you. And I will play it like an Oscar-worthy performance.
Coming in with the acting chops.
Yeah.
Literally.
And they will stick with it and drive you mad and break you down so that you can rise back up on your own and truly see and taste your own power.
Yeah.
From then on, show others that they can do it too.
Yeah. When you think about inspirational speakers or inspirational people that we know, oftentimes, like, the most inspirational person is the person who has come from or has experienced this crazy experience and has overcome it despite all odds. And that's what's inspiring. And these people are helping people by just being them. It also, you know, going back to not taking anything personally, it really helps you once you've healed and gotten past and come into your power, view your, you know, assailants or predators or whatever it is in a more loving light, because you can understand that they are here to serve a purpose as well.
Yeah.
And that can be really difficult for people.
Very, and especially if they're dealing with, you know, the murderer of their child or loved one.
Yeah.
Like, how could they be trying to help me?
Yeah.
But the reality is, on a soul level, this was an agreement. And you thank them for it. You love them. You guys are best friends on the soul level.
Yeah. It's much easier to say those things than practice that.
Yeah.
I know for me, I have struggled for years. And sometimes even now, things come up.
Yeah.
And triggers. It's easy to be like, oh, yes, we love them on a soul level. And you have to remind yourself of it. But in practice, it's difficult. And also that does not mean that just because you've gotten past this thing, you need to invite them back into your life in this experience.
Yeah.
It does not mean that, because they are still serving whatever their purpose is.
Exactly.
And oftentimes in this life, you don't need to invite.
No.
And shouldn't.
And
invite.
the lesson is to detach.
Yes.
And find your power on your own.
Exactly.
Completely detach.
Yeah.
Detachment is one of the biggest lessons in this universe. And also, I do want to touch on it being difficult.
Yeah.
I know that it can be difficult. Yes, it can really, really be difficult. But it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It does not have to be difficult. And that's what we as priestesses help people with. Get something that was impossibly difficult.
Yeah.
To being actually doable with ease and grace.
Yeah.
That's what we help people do in the quantum field through our journeys and ceremonies. And a lot of our clients can instantly switch into that state of awareness, that aha realization and gratitude.
Yeah.
Because they truly experience it for themselves to be true. Like when you're told this, you just automatically want to say, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, but when you literally experience it and remember you making that decision, that voluntary choice, then it's extremely easy to come out of that victim mindset and into grand appreciation and comical nature of everything. You're like, oh my God, I cannot believe I did all of this to myself.
I think that's why I'm such an advocate. I think both of us are for quantum healing.
Yeah.
Because there's different ways to do, obviously, like different ceremonies and stuff, but why like we advocate for you doing it on your own, you seeing it, you experiencing it. Because again, like we can talk about this stuff all day. And for some people, it'll be a reaction of like, no, like you can't say that. Like,
yeah.
That's why the experience needs to be your own.
Yeah.
You need to see it for yourself and know it for yourself to be able to release it, which is it's the power of quantum healing.
Yeah.
So you really get to go through and experience things and have your own experiences that are unique to you. And you can know it for yourself.
Remember
for
yourself.
Yeah.
Because, oh, God knows I would not have, I was not going to believe anything that someone told me.
No.
I mean, I was such a skeptic, cynic, and honestly just judgmental. And I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
You can believe that. I respect your decision. I respect your opinion. I respect your view.
Yeah.
But inside I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I needed to be shown. As someone who grew up in a very scientific academic household, who studied so many hard sciences at the top level, I needed to be shown, not just once or twice or 3 times, but literally so many times for me to finally come to terms. Okay. Yes, I understand. This is real.
Yeah.
And I hope to give that opportunity to everybody else who is suffering so that they don't have to suffer as much as I did.
Yeah.
Because it can be easy. And we deserve ease and peace now. Earth is ascending to that level, to that frequency of greater peace and greater joy.
Yep.
And it's your decision whether you want to come along the ride or stay behind. Not even behind, but just stay where you were at.
Yeah.
But that's a choice of you genuinely enjoying it on a deeper level, that chaos or the drama or the fight. And if that is the case, absolutely relish in it, experience that darkness and the internal struggle and fight.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I needed it.
Yeah.
And so I see, the absolute beauty and value in it. All that to say, quantum healing is not for everyone.
Yeah. It's really not. It's actually not, because not everyone wants to heal. Not everyone wants to go to a different place or experience different things. Like some people are happy with the experience that they're in, the simulation they're in, and that's perfectly fine. Like I'm not here to judge or anything. Like, in fact, I'm like, great, awesome, then cool.
Some souls are like, but I came to Earth to experience the Earth shit.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like,
all the Earth muck that I've been hearing about, that I was like, yes, I'm here for that shit.
Exactly.
It's like, now you're trying to bring me to what I've experienced before? Fuck that.
Yeah.
Let me be. I'm like, you're right.
Exactly.
Yeah, enjoy it. I get you.
Exactly. Which is so important, because especially as like going back to savior complex, I guess in my past, I couldn't see that. I couldn't let people experience their own experience. I was like, but you have to. And it was an ego check for me too, because it was like, oh, but like healed and like, oh, we're like higher. This is better, higher frequency. But it's not. I mean, it's just different.
Yeah, it's
like,
different.
Higher and lower is a way of describing, but it's not a hierarchy.
It's not better or
we
worse.
Are so hierarchical.
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 Wait, hierarchical.
You know what I mean? Hierarchical in this world, right? In Earth. Yeah. But that's not actually like how the universe works.
Yeah.
On soul levels, we're all equals.
Yeah.
And so just have to let people be.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a fun experience either way.
Life gets to be so fun.
It does.
And so easy.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to
choose it.
Yeah, we just
have to choose
actually
it.
choose it.
And that can be difficult sometimes.
Let it be
because of the
peaceful
other
and
stuff.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fought tooth and nail. I loved my suffering for a long time.
Me too.
And I wanted to say I didn't, but I did.
I was addicted
Yeah.
to suffering and the pain.
Yeah.
While being like, oh no, like, I'm suffering. Like, I'm in so much pain.
Right.
I mean, it was horrible, but at the same time, at a certain point, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I keep doing this over and over again.
Yeah.
Different faces, same person.
Yeah.
Over and over again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Replaying my childhood trauma
Mm-hmm.
until I decided I'm bored.
Yep.
And I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
A few times had to be like, I'm actually done.
Yeah.
I am actually bored by this.
Yeah. So, and not just like angry and like, I'm done. Like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Because angry is
bored
also
now.
an experience that you wanted to experience.
Yeah.
You're still giving a reaction. And I think of it like a parent playing with their kid or like a brother or something. Like the fun in it is when you get a reaction, you know, and you poke somebody and they scream.
Yeah.
Then you keep doing it, right? It's a reward.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. The universe is like, oh, look at you.
Uh-huh.
And like eventually you have to literally be like,
All right.
I'm bored. So are we going to do something else? And then it's not fun anymore. Then the universe is like, all right, fine. I guess we'll do something else.
Yeah.
To get some sort of reaction. Maybe joy.
Exactly.
Something different. And I think deep down for yourself, people know. You know whether you're ready or you're not. Mm. And if you choose to be honest with other people about that or yourself with that, that's a whole nother question. But you know whether or not you're actually bored. You know if you're ready to move forward. And you know if you're not.
That goes with the boredom.
Yeah.
Being bored by your own shit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, you see people who do like change drastically almost overnight. It's because they literally switched their reality.
Yep. Jumped into a different
timeline. And we're like, okay, I'm bored with this one now. Mm-hmm. And switched. It can happen. Mm-hmm. It happens all the time. But you have to be ready. Mm-hmm. You got to reach that level of authenticity in whatever your journey is. Being real with yourself, honest with yourself, and authentic to yourself wherever you are, and not being hard on yourself for it. Mm-hmm. If you are in a space where you are not over pain and you still want to experience, these painful experiences, that's okay. Just be honest with yourself and then give yourself grace. Be like, okay, well, I guess I just need some more of this. And that's okay too. Yeah. That's really important. You're still a divine worker. You're still doing what you wanted to do. Yeah. So it's good.
It's the same for chronic pain, chronic illness. Mm-hmm. You can actually heal it when you decide that you are absolutely done and tired of your old self, your old patterns of thinking and patterns of reacting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. People heal from the biggest illnesses without a cure in the medical field to this day. Yeah. Instant. One day. And I am the poster child of that. Mm-hmm. I healed my own cluster headaches, which are called suicide headaches. Mm-hmm. As most patients with cluster headaches come as suicide. Mm. It is not a migraine. It is a lot more severe. The most severe form of a headache, neuralgia migraine, that can feel like one side of your face and brain and eyeball is exploding and imploding at the same time. Mm-hmm. And you genuinely just want to die. You want to kill yourself. I've thought about shooting myself in the head or like just stabbing my eyeball out so many times. Yeah. But instead just, would lock myself in a dark bathroom and bang my head and pace around and scream and vomit from all the pain. I suffered with that for 20 years.
Wow.
since I was 12 and a half years old. And because this is such a rare brain disorder, illness, there are no cures. And to this day, there really isn't a cure. But doing quantum healing work, I was able to heal this, cure this permanently. I want that for everyone. Like, anything is possible, truly.
Yeah.
And that is it for this episode, The Aftermath. Thank you so much for joining me and Harmony today. And I just want to encourage you, whatever feelings that this episode brought up for you today, lean into them. Feelings are energy, and I want you to use whatever energy you receive today to inspire you on your own healing journey. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the.aftermath.podcast and on TikTok at the.aftermath.pod to be kept up to date with new guests and episodes, and also to join in on discussions, because I really, really, really want to hear your feedback. I want to hear any questions that you have and would love to hear from you. Next week's episode is going to be intense. We are going to be talking about how to get comfortable with the uncomfortable and really learning to sit with your feelings instead of pushing them away. And remember, healing doesn't come with a manual, but it does come with power. So stay authentic, keep going, and I'll see you next week.